In this video, we are going to talk about Toshi, some of the recent price action, and where we can expect it to go in the coming days and weeks. If you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to subscribe to not miss any future updates, as I will be covering my thoughts on Toshi as well as other altcoins and Bitcoin and the entire crypto market. So let's start by looking at Toshi on the weekly chart. What I can see on this weekly chart is actually a very typical chart for a meme coin. This type of structure where we see it absolutely skyrocketing as it launches and then immediately dumping is a very typical structure for a meme coin. It is very similar to the structure we saw on Pengu, and after this dump in the first few weeks, we can see that it has been getting a recovery and slowly climbing up. This is very normal for a meme coin. And just a disclaimer before I start the analysis, I have no affiliation to this coin whatsoever, and I have seen some talks about this coin potentially being a scam or a rug pull. I have no idea if it is, and I'm purely looking at the charts and doing my analysis, so beware of that. There are scams in the crypto space, and I can't know for sure whether this is legit or not. I will only be looking at the chart and the price action. So what we can see right here is that we have had for a few months since the April low in the market a structure of higher highs and higher lows, but we since then have broken below the trend line in the last few weeks, since the crypto market has been really struggling since the start of October, and Toshi is certainly no different. It is a very volatile meme coin, a very small market cap coin, so its volatility is very extreme. Toshi has dropped about 60% just in the last few weeks, and we have lost this significant area of support on the weekly time frame. The next area of support for us to look at is this low right here from about June, which we are approaching at the moment at around 0.00039. So this is the next area to look at if we can get a bounce from there and form a low. The price action of Toshi will likely have a very large correlation with Bitcoin, which I have talked about in the last video. I do expect Bitcoin to get at least a relief rally sometime in the next few days, because we are approaching a death cross for Bitcoin, which usually marks a low for Bitcoin. So in my opinion, we either already bottomed for Bitcoin or we will form a local bottom for Bitcoin in the next few days. And if that is true and Bitcoin will get a rally, then we will likely see Toshi also getting its own rally from this level. But if we do break down below this level in the next few days and weeks, then this will be a much more concerning sign. But I think the more likely outcome is that we do see a bounce for Toshi from this area, and this previous support area, this trend line that we've had in the last few months, will likely turn into resistance. So I think we will likely see Toshi getting a bounce from this level and struggling to cross this level at around 0.0007. In the short term, if we do see a bounce for Toshi from this level, it is very possible for it to outperform Bitcoin in the coming weeks. But in my opinion, generally, it's still too early for altcoins, especially meme coins as small as Toshi in market cap. Although it can outperform Bitcoin in the short term, it is likely not a good idea to hold it over Bitcoin on a longer time frame, and Bitcoin will likely continue to outperform most altcoins, at least in the next few weeks, as Bitcoin tends to lead the bull market. If we are still in a bull market, and we will see Bitcoin getting a recovery and approach new all-time highs again, until we at least see Bitcoin approaching new all-time highs, Bitcoin will likely outperform most altcoins. And if the bear market has already started and Bitcoin will continue dumping, then it is completely game over for most altcoins, and they will significantly underperform Bitcoin and continue dumping significantly. Of course, there will be some exceptions, but most altcoins will really struggle compared to Bitcoin, again, at least until we see Bitcoin approaching new all-time highs. In my opinion, it's too early to get into meme coins. Obviously, again, Toshi is an incredibly volatile coin because it's a meme coin and it has a very small market cap, but although it can get a bit of a bounce from this area that we have talked about, compared to Bitcoin, it will likely struggle. Of course, this isn't financial advice whatsoever, but in my opinion, it doesn't make much sense to get into meme coins, at least for now. It will likely make more sense if we do see the crypto market recovering and Bitcoin and Ethereum approaching new all-time highs. If we do see Bitcoin and Ethereum breaking into new all-time highs, then it will likely make more sense to get into altcoins and meme coins such as Toshi. But until then, in my opinion, it doesn't justify the risk of holding such a volatile coin that again could be a scam. I'm not saying it is or it's not, I have no idea, but there's always the chance that it is. So I would suggest being very careful with a coin like this and only potentially allocating a very, very small percentage of your portfolio to it, if at all. So yeah guys, that's the update on Toshi. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more future updates. I will keep making videos about Toshi, about a bunch of different meme coins, altcoins, and Bitcoin as well. So make sure to subscribe to not miss any future updates. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.